I.S.U.P.K.
Jamaican people, you are the Hebrew Israelites. Hebrew Israelites. Study up them things there. You know the internet as a reservoir of knowledge. Jamaican people, you are the Hebrew Israelites. Hebrew Israelites.
Shalom Israel, I.S.U.P.K Jamaica, under Commanding General Yahanna from 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. This evening we want to look on some what we might call color scripture, or the color of the Most High. Color of the Most High, color of the Israelite, color of angels. Now, most times you say, in Christians, you hear Christians say, color doesn't matter. Well, let's see what the Bible says about that. Does color matter? Let's see. Alright, first reading from Young Man Our Convert again, reading from Daniel 7 and 9.
Daniel 7, verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the ancient of days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame.
Now, Daniel was in a vision. He said, he beheld until the thrones were cast down, and he saw the Ancient of Days sitting on that throne. And the Ancient of Days had on a white garment, and the hair on the head of the Ancient of Days was like pure wool. So Daniel couldn't see his face because no man can see his face and live. So Daniel saw the hair on his head. Now let's go to Revelation 1 and 13.
Revelation 1, verse 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle.
So Revelation here now, John the Revelator now, seeing the Son, one like unto the Son of Man. How would you know that Revelation is about Christ? So what who John was seeing was Christ. He was getting a vision, seeing Christ. Continue.
Verse 14. His head and his ears were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame
Of fire.
of fire.
So his head, so Daniel saw the hair on his head, and it was white like wool. Now, Christ, the Son of God, the Son, Yahweh Shai, the Son of Yahweh. So Jesus Christ, the Son of God, had woolly hair. Daniel saw the Most High, and he had woolly hair. So Christ had woolly hair, Daniel had woolly, the Most High had woolly hair. Now let's see some more description on Christ. Continue.
Verse 15. And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace.
So Daniel, John saw his feet, and his feet was like fine brass, as if it was burned in a furnace. Now if his feet was like fine brass, burned in a furnace. Now anything burned in a furnace is not, can't be white, can't be pink, it's black. So if Christ, the Son of God, was black, it means that the Father was black. They both had woolly hair. Now let's go to Daniel 10, 5 and 6.
Daniel 10, verse 5. Then I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girdled with fine gold of Uphaz. Daniel 10 verse 6. His body also was like beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet like in color of polished brass.
So Daniel now, this is Daniel's vision of Christ. A certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz. Wow. Body like beryl, and his face the appearance of lightning, his eyes lamps of fire, arms and feet like the color of polished brass. So John saw brass as burned, as if it was burned in fire. Daniel saw arms and feet as unto polished brass. Polished brass, so brass itself is dark, you know. So polished brass is a little darker. More like it's another shade of Israel. Many shades Israelites have. Let's continue again. Ezekiel 1. So we can say now. So we see now that the head, Yahweh, we call God the Creator, was black. Christ, his Son, was black. Let's continue. Ezekiel 1, 5 to 7.
Ezekiel 1, verse 5. Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. Verse 6. And every one had 4 faces, and every one had 4 wings.
So Ezekiel now was in a vision where he was seeing angels. 4 faces, let's not get into that, because, I mean, we know, that's beyond our comprehension right now. To see a being the likeness of a man with 4 faces. but he was seeing angels. Let's continue.
Verse 7. And their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass.
So there you go again. Brass, burnished brass now. So we see that dark color again. So we see the angels now. So Ezekiel saw the angels and they were black. So the creator being black, his son was black, the angels were black. Let's continue. Jeremiah 14 and 2. Jeremiah chapter 14. Now, if the Most High goes through this, go to the extent to put the to show unto the prophet, into his prophets, the color of himself, the color of his son, the color of his angel. We have some other colors to look at. Let's hear what it says in Jeremiah 14 and verse 2.
Jeremiah 14, verse 2. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground, and the city of they were black, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up.
So Judah now, one of the 12 tribes, one of the tribes of Israel, Judah, here in Jeremiah 14 and 2, is described as being black. They are black unto the ground. So Judah is black. Let's continue now to Songs of Solomon 1 and 5. We know that Solomon was one of the kings of Israel. Now hear what Solomon has to say about color. Did Solomon mention color was color important to Solomon?
Songs of Solomon, verse 1. Songs of Solomon 1, verse 5. I am black but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon.
So Solomon being one of Israel kings was saying, I am black. So in the time of Solomon was black. Let's hear what Job 30 and 30 says.
Job 30 and 30. My skin is black upon me, and my bones are burnt with heat.
So Job describing himself as being black. But I get as Christians, say, color don't matter. Huh? Alright, let's go to one final book, Acts 13 and 1, and hear what the description there says.
Acts 13, verse 1. Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called Niger.
So Simeon was called nigger. No, we don't. People in America now, when the Edomites call in blacks, they don't say, hey you Niger. They say, hey you, okay, the N-word. Nowadays they say, you must say the N-word. But it's right here in the Bible. Simeon was called a nigger. And today they call black people what? That same derogatory term, nigger. So, if the most I go to the problem of showing is prophets, the color of the Creator, the color of the Creator's Son, both being black, color of his angels as polished brass, being black, the color of Judah, one of the tribes of Israel, being black, the color of the king when Israel was in its heydays, being black, the color of Job, who had so much faith so as to be named in the books of the Bible in today's day, being black, and one of his disciples who was named called a nigger. Why was he called a nigger? The word nigger means black. So his disciples were black, eh? So how can color be, so Israel, how can color not matter? That's a way to not think. Color have to matter. But let your heritage stay with you. Shalom Israel. Until we meet again.
Nobody tell you cry. You know why? Because I never saw you before. But you are a black man like me. And it works out.
My whole life was trying to find something to follow. Had loyalty, every man tried to borrow. Felt pain and a lot of sorrow. Got betrayed, so packed, I didn't even have my heart broke. Living confused, about to lose hope. Cops got me on the side of the road like a sideshow. Need an antidote before I croak. Now I'm setting fire to rhythm man blues, boy, this guitar smoke. Rebel with no cause, trying to find direction. The world got me vexed. Picked up a bad liquor habit that's hereditary from oppression. Felt like my life was on fire, trying to find an exit. Now look, 10 G's plus a good wreck. Sometimes a follower is a soldier, trying to find a good ship. Plus when you in hell, how do you excel? Wisdom the breath of life, I don't believe in fairy tale. Listen well to what I tell. No calling can cause pain, something that a rebel knows very well. Can't you tell I was sent from the Lord? Got a tongue like a two-edged sword.